What's up, basketball fans, and welcome back to NBA GOAT News. The Pacers had a great win against the Detroit Pistons last night, pulling out a 115-109 win. Let's break it down. Detroit started out strong, leading by as much as 12 points, with Cade Cunningham putting up 28 points, but the Pacers came alive in the second half. Miles Turner was a beast on both ends, dropping 20 points, grabbing 9 boards, and blocking 4 shots. Pascal Siakam also showed out with 19 points and 9 assists. Indiana's comeback really kicked into gear in the third quarter, where they outscored the Pistons 33-19 in the fourth to seal the win. An epic rally by the Pacers. Keep watching because this team is just getting started. The Orlando Magic kicked off their season with a bang, defeating the Miami Heat 116-97. Let's dive into the action. It was a tight game to start, with both teams tied at 32 after the first quarter, but the Magic began to pull away in the third quarter, and that's where things really got interesting. Orlando outscored Miami 39-18 in the third quarter, fueled by a huge 22-5 scoring run. Paolo Banchero was unstoppable, dropping 33 points and grabbing 11 rebounds. Franz Wagner wasn't far behind, putting up 23 points of his own. The turning point was definitely that third quarter run. The Magic's defense clamped down, holding Miami to just 18 points, while Banchero and Wagner led the charge offensively. The Heat's Terry Rozier tried to keep them in the game with 19 points, but it wasn't enough. A dominant win for Orlando to start the season, with Banchero looking like a future star. If this is how the Magic are going to play, it's going to be a fun season ahead. Last night was an explosive season opener as the Cleveland Cavaliers dominated the Toronto Raptors with a 136-106 win. Let's break down what went down on the court. The Cavs came out strong, putting up 33 points in the first quarter and barely trailing the Raptors, who kept it close at 32. But the second quarter, that's where Cleveland pulled away, outscoring Toronto 36-17. Their defense, led by Evan Mobley, completely shut down the Raptors' offense, giving the Cavs a huge 69-49 lead heading into halftime. Toronto tried to make a comeback in the third quarter, but Cleveland wasn't having it. They scored another 36 points in the third and stayed firmly in control through the final period, securing the victory with a 31-point fourth quarter. Evan Mobley was a beast. He dropped 25 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, and added a few steals and blocks for good measure. On the Raptors side, Chris Boucher was their top scorer with 18 points, but it wasn't enough to stop Cleveland's dominant performance. What a start to the season for the Cavs. With this kind of offensive firepower and defensive intensity, Cleveland is looking like a serious contender. The Brooklyn Nets took on Atlanta Hawks last night in a nail-biting season opener. The game was a thriller, with Cam Thomas leading with the charge for Brooklyn, scoring 36 points. But despite his standout performance, the Hawks were too much to handle. Trae Young was on fire with 30 points, 12 assists. Onyeka Okongwu had a career night, dropping 28 points. The Hawks pulled away late in the game thanks to Young's clutch free throws, sealing the 120-116 victory. To add to the drama, Nick Claxton was ejected in the fourth quarter, shifting momentum even more in Atlanta's favor. A tough loss for the Nets, but an exciting start to the season. Last night, the Bucks took on the 76ers in a thrilling season opener, and it was a big night for the Bucks. Damian Lillard scored 30 points, and Giannis Antetokounmpo added 25 to lead Milwaukee to a 124-109 victory. Let's break it down. The Bucks came out strong, with Damian Lillard controlling the pace and hitting 6 3-pointers. Giannis was dominant as usual, finishing with 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. The 76ers got solid contributions from Tyrese Maxey, but Milwaukee's firepower proved to be too much as they pulled away in the second half. Came in the fourth quarter when Lillard knocked down a deep 3 to extend the Bucks' lead to double digits. That shot essentially sealed the deal for Milwaukee, and the 76ers couldn't recover. It's only the first game, but the Bucks, Lillard, Giannis combo looks lethal. Last night's season opener between the Rockets and Hornets was a thrilling battle. The Hornets edged out a 110-105 victory, and LaMelo Ball was the star of the show. LaMelo was unstoppable, dropping 34 points with 11 assists. His clutch play in the final minutes, especially setting up Grant Williams for a game-sealing three-pointer, was the difference. Fred VanVleet and Alperen Sengun kept the Rockets in the game, but it wasn't enough to overcome LaMelo's heroics. What a way to start the season. Last night, the Chicago Bulls took on the New Orleans Pelicans in their season opener, and it was a high-scoring affair. Despite missing Zion Williamson, the Pelicans powered through to claim a 123-111 victory behind a stellar night from Brandon Ingram. The Bulls kept it close in the first half, with Zach LaVine leading Chicago with 27 points. But in the second half, Brandon Ingram took over, finishing with 33 points on 16 of 28 shooting, while CJ McCollum chipped in 23. The Pelicans' offense was just too much, especially in the third quarter where they pulled ahead. Key moment came late in the fourth quarter. Ingram hit a clutch turnaround jumper with under 2 minutes to go, extending the lead and putting the game out of reach for the Bulls. Last night's game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Utah Jazz went down to the wire. The Grizzlies pulled off a 126-124 victory and a nail-biter, with Ja Morant shining in his return. Let's dive into the action. It was a back-and-forth battle all night. Ja Morant led the Grizzlies with 32 points, while Lauri Markkanen was on fire for the Jazz, scoring 29. The Jazz made a late push, but Memphis held them off to start their season with a win. The key moment came in the final seconds with the Jazz down by 2. Walker Kessler's potential game-tying shot rimmed out, sealing the win for Memphis. Last night, the Phoenix Suns spoiled the Clippers' home opener with a 116-113 overtime victory. Devin Booker and Bradley Beal led the way for Phoenix. It was a hard-fought game throughout. Bradley Beal added 24 for the Suns. Phoenix outlasted them in overtime, securing the win and handing the Clippers a tough home loss. Last night, the Golden State Warriors squared off against the Portland Trail Blazers, and it was an exciting start to the season for both teams. The Warriors came on top with a 139-104 victory, and while Stephen Curry had a quieter night, Buddy Hield made a big impact. The Warriors took control of the game early on thanks to a balanced offense effort. Stephen Curry finished with 17 points, playing more of a facilitator role, while newcomer Buddy Hield led the way with 22 points, showing his shooting prowess. The Blazers struggled to keep up with their defense, unable to contain the Warriors' scoring depth in the third quarter when Buddy Hield caught fire, knocking down 3 straight three-pointers to extend the Warriors' lead. That scoring burst broke the game wide open, giving the Warriors all the momentum they needed to cruise to victory. Let me know what you think about the opening games this season in the comments down below, and subscribe to stay tuned for more NBA highlights.